It's Cecil, and it is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. um, Today is Tuesday. I definitely wanted this to be done on a Saturday. It wasn't. It was supposed to be done 2 Saturdays ago, and the build was done, but I didn't have the energy to do the editing, unfortunately, and also, due to allergies, my throat has just been having a time, and talking has just not really been doing the happening. But today we are completing the occult series of this game, in which we are going to now be building a werewolf hideout. So I kind of wanted to give it like an abandoned factory of some kind vibe. I know there's other abandoned factory builds. I think that the library, gym, whatever that building is in the werewolf world, I think that is also supposed to be an abandoned factory. And I think that these actually kind of blend into each other pretty well. So I am content with there being two because they look like they belong together. Whatever kind of abandoned factory that one is, this is something else. But in my head, it's kind of an abandoned textile factory. Not that there's anything in it that suggests that specifically. It's just how I feel. So I used a lot of, obviously, the werewolf build stuff, and I have not built with this pack since it came out. So it's been like a year and a half. Has it been a year and a half? Is that true? Is that how long it's been? Wow, concept of time in this economy. Anyways, it's been a while since I've built with this pack, but I really do like the vibe, and I love how I like how distinct and unique it is. But basically, here is the story in my head. There were like two options. One is that this is a hideout house. This is a place for newly turned werewolves who maybe don't have anywhere else to go. And they hide out at this house until they can get more adjusted to being a werewolf and all of that stuff. And then the other story in my mind is a little bit more specific than that, which is that there is a family of a werewolf who was like born a werewolf and a werewolf who was very recently turned in some sort of mishap. And they are married. And when just the one was a werewolf, they had a lot more experience, like they had more experience controlling all of their werewolf stuff, so they blended into society pretty well. But when their wife got turned into a werewolf, it was not quite so wasn't quite so simple. And there was like some sort of mishap, they got ran out of town, and now they are hiding out in this abandoned factory turned home sweet home. Uh, so we've got some bedrooms upstairs, we've got some stuff going on downstairs, and then in the basement we have the werewolf panic room, the full moon room, whatever you want to call it. I wanted to do a lot of like exposed brick and stuff. I don't think they've lived here super long, so I don't think they've done a lot with the interior. And I think that one day it will stop being a hideout and they will acknowledge, like, hey, we live here. But I think for right now, until the newly turned werewolf gets a handle on things, they are going to be very much in hiding about it. So, yeah. Upstairs, there are 3 bedrooms, and then downstairs, we've got a few things going on, where I wanted to make it look like when you first walk in and like if you peek in through the door, unless you go investigating further, you're not going to realize that people live here. Not that people are usually just walking into your house willy-nilly if they don't know you. But you know what I mean. So I was thinking like maybe, they kept a lot of the junk from the abandoned warehouse and they like kind of put it in that front room, and maybe the like hallway next to it so that if people look in, they're like, oh, this place is abandoned, and they're not necessarily trying to like get further in, if that at all makes sense. Um, in the story of the family, I imagine that they have two kids. One is a child, one is a teenager, and I think that they also, when all of this happened and when they got ran out of town, I think that the newly turned werewolf was pregnant, and so that is why they went into hiding, because they were like, we need to keep new Bubby safe. So that yeah. I was thinking so hard on the story while I was building this house, and yet again, I found myself really wanting to play with these Sims. I have not made them, but I keep thinking about them, and I know I probably won't. Like, I know at the end of the day, I'm probably not going to, but I'm gonna think about them every now and then, you know? I have played with werewolves a little bit. I started playing with a werewolf, again, when the pack first came out. And then, for the first time ever, I had a sim die that I did not intend for them to die. So that was quite an introduction to the pack. Not what I was looking for when I got started, but you know, all right, sure. It was a very stressful time. It was a stressful time. I was like, basically, I had built their entire house underground, and they were like, I gave them the paranoid trait from Strangerville, and it was going to be a great time. It was going to be a grand old time. And then they got electrocuted and died. And I was like, wait, this doesn't happen to me. What are you talking about? So that was a harrowing experience, and I never I never went, like, I kind of played with the werewolf ghost with a different family, working on reviving them, and it was fun, but then I got bored. Because sometimes you just get bored. I think I beat Strangerville too in that save file. I can't remember for sure, but I think I did. I think I beat Strangerville. And once you beat Strangerville, there's not a whole lot left to do, you know? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to work really hard and I'm going to make ambrosia. And then I got bored. I do not have a grind set mindset when it comes to certain things in The Sims, because I didn't come into that save being like, yes, this werewolf is gonna die. No, it was an accident. I didn't want that to happen. Yeah. Anyways, we've got a lot of like mismatched furniture, and I utilized so the kit that I allowed myself to play with for this, I used, obviously, I used the werewolf stuff pack or game pack, but then I used the basement kit because it has some like worn down furniture and stuff like that, so it really fit the vibe, and I really liked that. But yeah, we've got some bookcases in the upstairs, and I put a lot. I put a lot of clutter in this build as far as like debug goes. So I will say that like downstairs it doesn't look like it's going to be possible for Sims to walk through the entrance of the house, but I'm not worried about it because a lot of it is debug. And the thing about debug is that Sims don't really perceive it as being an item, so they can walk through it. Which sometimes breaks the immersion, but other times it's like, you know what, I'm glad. This is one of the times that I'm glad. But yeah, I did put a whole like backyard situation going on in here too, because I was like, yes, let's have it be a family space that they're slowly starting to build up. But oh yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I put way too much of the floor cracks and stuff. I I I went a little ham, and I did not need to. But I don't regret it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I stand by that decision, I think. um but yeah, it was a fun build. It was fun to think about the story and to, kind of imagine this little family of maybe some of them are werewolves and some of them are not, depending on how the genes rolled. And just, but if I played their story, I think I would want to start before the wife got turned and, like kind of. Sorry, I just stopped talking because one cat jumped into my bed, but I think a different cat is also in my bed, and they're not happy about that. Hey Dakota, what you doing? Um, or maybe the other cat is on my dresser making noises. You know what? It's hard to tell. I yeah. The only other time that I've made a werewolf in this game actually was when I made like human sim versions of all of my pets, and for one of my cats, Dakota, I made him as a werewolf because even though he's a cat, he's a dog boy. You know what I mean? Like he's so friendly. He just wants to be friends with everybody, and he's not very good at social cues, which makes it difficult for the other cats to get along with him, which, as it is. But yeah. Oh yeah, I debated putting other wallpaper and then I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Brick. um and I wanted to make sure that I put like blinds or curtains or something on all of the windows because it makes sense to like stop people from being able to look in. You know what I mean? Cuz it's like you don't want people to look in and know that there's actually people living in here, right? So, yeah. Anyways, I I definitely played a lot with the debug for the landscaping. The front of the lot is so busy. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. It might even be unnecessarily busy. But I don't know. I feel like it needed it. I feel like it needed to look overgrown. It needed to have a lot going on because the idea is that they've just moved in. They haven't done any cleanup. They're not letting people know that they live here yet, and I don't know. I stand by my choice. It's very busy. I'm not going to pretend like it's not busy. Um, if you don't like it, you can delete some of the things. But yeah, there's a lot of debug items, and I wanted to do some of like the fallen logs. You know what? Maybe this is some sort of like lumber factory. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about much other than the fact that I'm like, this has been abandoned for a while. And so there's things and stuff around. I wanted to put some garden pots in the backyard, and I put like the little bonfire that came with the pack, and then I put like the monkey bars for the kids to use. I think if I was playing in this, I would also add a swing set but there's not a swing set in Werewolves or the base game, so that is why there's not one. Um, and then we kind of spruced up the place inside with some plants. And then, oh no, I added more scratches and cracks into the wall because, like I said, I could not stop. I was like, yes, this is the vibe. So that is what we did. Um, but yeah, we're putting some paintings and stuff in there, and it is all around a good time. I had a lot of fun with just like the decorating and like imagining, yes, this is definitely a werewolf house. This is the panic room. This is where the majority of the scratches would have been, and maybe people lived here before they did, and it was fun. Now we're adding all of the clutter into like the front room and stuff. Um, but yeah, I had a lot of fun. It is a mess, but it's supposed to be a mess. The mess is the draw. That's the point. So we leaned into it, and I had so much fun. I really enjoyed it. Um, I loved using that like rubble pile and stuff and like sizing up some crates, and I don't even know. I don't know what was supposed to have been in those. I just think that like it's supposed to be cluttered enough that if anybody like if teenagers, were about to do a shenanigan and they peeked their head in, they would be like, oh, there is no room to walk. Not that teenagers will necessarily be stopped by that, but it might dissuade them. But we are coming up on the end of the build pretty soon here. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below if there are any builds you would like to see in the months ahead. I have not planned too much for the next couple of months, so seriously, it is all open. You can follow me in the links in the description box below, including my Twitch, where we will be playing with the paranormal stuff pack tonight. It's going to be great fun. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.